I never used that.
Do you not? No. We're on episode 79 of the Warrior Chic Podcast, guys, season 8, and today I'm joined with Emma. I'm not actually going to say Emma's surname because I think I butchered it earlier, and I hate when people butcher my name. So I'll let her introduce herself.
Emma McElhinney. But
I
I
said it
get
right.
it. I get it wrong, so I'm separated now. So I'm in the whole kind of should I go back to my maiden name, which is a lot easier. But even when I was married, my father-in-law would always be like that. You're not pronouncing it right, and I'm like, well, there isn't any other way of pronouncing it. So yeah, we're fine with McElhinney.
What's your maiden name?
Warwick, like the castle. That's quite easy, isn't it?
Yeah, I think like if you're not going back, you should go back, forward, whatever way you want to look at it. But I got you on tonight just because I'd been listening. I obviously met you through GGC, and then I had a couple of listens to a couple of your podcasts, and I was like, we need to talk about body confidence because you speak about yourself quite a lot in it, which I like, and you speak about yourself in a way of like, I've got this, but I still love my body sort of thing. And I think that's what I really liked about it, and I could really relate to it. But see, to start, can you tell us what body confidence means to you?
To me personally, or me to, I'll explain it all right. So body confidence to me isn't about the outward appearance. It's about how you feel in yourself. So it's sometimes it can be what you look like in the mirror and whether you give yourself a quick wink and go, nah, you're looking hot, or a bit of a slap in the old arse or whatever. But it's about being able to walk into any room knowing and feeling good. Whether you look good or not, it's about feeling good. And it's that, like, you can tell when when you're at a party or you're at a meeting or you're at a work thing, you can tell the people that have got body confidence. They might not be the size 8s, they might not be the model looking ones, but you can tell there's a way that people hold themselves and they stand tall and they've just got something that they put out. And that's what, and like, what this is not, even those people don't have it all the time. Like, nobody has it all the time, but you can just tell. And that's what body confidence is to me, is that whole taking ownership of your own self and just being proud of what you've got.
I actually really like that. It's completely different from what I kind of wrote a wee bit as well, because I asked a few people in my team earlier as well. But for me, I wrote it's just basically about being comfortable in my own skin and being like grateful for what my body can do with endo as well, but also like loving my flaws. I've always like battled with cellulite, which is no secret. I speak about it all the time. So I never ever wore shorts ever. And see, this year I'm like, I don't care, I'm wearing shorts. And it's just about loving it and being like, do you know what, this is me and this is who I am, and I've accepted who I am. So it's no longer like a problem. But yeah, just being comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, well, we've all got, I don't even think they're flaws so much now. Like, I speak about my massive man rugby calves and my massive man legs and my massive man shoulders and my tiny wee waist and my tiny wee boobs and stuff. Like, if you were to hear me describe my actual physical self, you'd be like, oh, she's really hard on herself like that. No, but I know I look shit hot. Like, it's fine. But that comes with, like, it's not something, it's just not a switch that goes on or goes off. It needs to be worked on. And that's what I talk about when I talk about body confidence. Is like, I specialize in perimenopause weight loss. So a lot of my clients come to me having gained weight in their 40s and they're like, I just don't have any body confidence and like that. Well, actually, do you know what? Losing 2 dress sizes, losing 2 stone, whatever it is, that's not going to be the thing that makes you body confident. It might help, it might be the part of the process, but it's what's going on up here that is creating the body confidence. And that's where the work really lies.
Your legs comment was the one that I was like, right, we need to talk about this because
my calves. Do you want to hear a funny story about my calves? Right, so this is going to happen in the next couple of years again because fashion is cyclical. Remember when knee-high boots were in fashion and everybody had these black knee-high boots with a pointy toe and a stiletto heel, and I just thought everybody looked amazing. Look, everybody looks amazing, like pure, like, oh, look at me, my legs. I had I went to go and get them, right? And the only place that I could get them that would even take a glance at my calves was Evans. Now, if you're younger than me, you might not know what Evans was. So Evans was a clothes shop for ladies over a size 14. And even then, I had to go with the wide calf option of the bigger leg size knee-high boots. And I put them on and I just looked like what the looks like a wee tiny wee peg feet because my feet are only a 5, right? So we peg feet in these massive calves. So yeah, that's the backstory of the calves.
Then you also utilize like your legs because you're lifting. That's what you were chatting about in the podcast. I heard it was like, you're squatting, what your legs can do for you.
Well, like I've got genetically large calves, and there's a photo of me in my mum's hall, and I'm in a ballet tutu. Like, must only be about 5 or 6, right? I'm dinky. Apart from the calves, right? I've got wee stick legs, but calves. So I've always had calves. But then, as throughout my teens up until about 18, I was a sprinter. So like, I was training to gain muscle mass even then when I was growing. So obviously they've stuck around, and now I lift. I don't lift as heavy as I used to now, but I was doing 110 kilo squats with these legs, and it's like I can climb mountains, I can run. I choose not to run because I freaking hate running, but like I can do many, many, many things that other people cannot do, and I will be able to do for a long time because of these bad
Your
boys.
legs. That's exactly where I am with my legs, because honestly for so long I would just cover them up, and it's not even about covering them up, it was just like, I hate my legs, and I'm like, why are you speaking to yourself like that? Also because I've got a cousin who's in a wheelchair, and I'm like, she can't do half the things I can do because she can't walk. So I've got legs that allow me to walk and go and do the things that I want to do. Do you know what I mean? So it's about
Yeah.
just appreciating that. We were just chatting about podcasts because I had listened to a few podcasts earlier this week, and actually one of the girls, I had to write it down, that's why I'm looking down, and I'm like, wow, I actually said it a few times. I'm like, this is brilliant, because a lot of women I come across talk to themselves like shit, right? And what she's saying is, you can't hate yourself into a body you love.
You can't hate yourself skinny.
No.
Mm-mm.
So like, you can't be hating on yourself and then expecting like in 3 months' time when you've lost 4 stone that you're just going to love yourself. Nah. I thought
Doesn't
that
work
was quite a
that
good.
way, no. Yeah. It's all like it's all part of the journey. Like, everybody and anybody can change their eating, and everybody and anybody can change their exercising. But if you don't change the thoughts that are running around your head, and if you don't change the beliefs that have been with you probably since you've been a young kid, then fundamentally nothing is ever going to change. It's hard. It is so hard because, like, you'll know yourself. Like, you'll have a clients that'll come to you and they won't even look at themselves in the
No,
mirror, or if
yeah,
they do,
100%.
they burst out crying. Like, I've had clients come to me after a crying fit because they can't find anything to wear. And like, how have I let myself go? I'm ugly, I'm horrible. And as we get older, like, a lot of my clients are older, as we get older, like, our identity is shifting, we're losing our faces, like, we're collapsing, and it's hard to really like feel that level of joy for your body when it's such an effort now for it the way that you want it to be. Like, when you're in your 20s, like, for most people it's fairly easy. Like, if you're like just running about doing things that 20-year-olds do, like going clubbing and stuff, you're fine. You don't really need to worry about it. And then boom, everything changes, and you're like, boom, I don't like how I look. Boom, I don't like how I feel. Boom, I don't know if this is what I want to do for a job. Boom, I don't know if I'm happy in my marriage. Boom, like, everything's just like, whoa. And it's really hard to then channel that gratitude for your body.
Do you think you've always had gratitude for your body? Because you are really like in
Oh,
tune with
aye.
yourself.
Well, yes and no. Like, I was a teenager through the heroin chic era, so we had Kate Moss telling us that nothing tasted as good as skinny feels, and I'm an eater. Like, I used to get slagged off rotten by my family as having hollow legs because I've just always loved food, and it's only now in my 40s that I've gone, oh, you can't eat like that anymore, hen. Like, that's like, you're gonna have to learn how to moderate here. But when I was a teenager, we had the whole heroin chic thing. Everybody was super skinny, all the rest of it. But I had a function for my body. So I had purpose for my body, and I had sport, and I had fitness. And then I had boys and vodka, which was a bit of a hiccup for a good couple of years there. But So I've always had that kind of functionality about my body. It's not just how it looks. And whether it's exposure to fitness quite young, like I've always wanted to be more muscular. Like I've always wanted to look lean, and like I think it was Pink that said that her body goals is she wanted to just look like a prison bitch. And I'm like, that is it. Like that's exactly the look that we're going for here. And it was not fashionable to be muscular
No,
back in the 90s. It was not. And like, it's only probably in the last 10 years, I think it's kind of been a.
probably, I don't even think as long as that, to be honest. Well, it might be because I was doing my dissertation in 2014 and it was all around like women and lifting. I can relate to that so much, I think, because I don't think I've, apart from the leg scenario, I don't think I've ever fully struggled with like my body, but it's because I've always played sport or did fitness. I've always like yourself, always had a part in, maybe it was like running faster or playing netball or whatever. Um, but I think social media has a massive part to play in it now,
Mhm. Oh,
like how
absolutely.
people feel.
Oh, absolutely. Like, see, when I first went fully online, I went fully online 6 months before COVID hit. And that was just, I was 42, I think. So
No,
suddenly
okay.
so
We're speaking
suddenly
about age.
suddenly I went from being really, really active. I was in the gym all the time. I was coaching and I was eating really well. And I was like size 8. And then I went fully online and COVID hit and perimenopause hormones and metabolism slowdown kicked in and I went up to a size 12, which for me, for a lot of people, that's not a big deal. But for me, that was huge. And like during your perimenopause years, your hormone distribution pattern changes, so your fat pattern changes. So I'd always had a flat stomach and a really narrow waist, and then boom, I'm like, where's this gut come from? So I went from being on screen all the time in leggings and tiny V vest socks, doing all the things to going. I like, and that was the biggest time of my life where I've gone, I don't, I don't like how I look. Like this is impacting me. Luckily, we had nowhere to go other than our own Zoom rooms and like whatnot. Like I've got a gym in my garage, and that was like the furthest I really ever went. But it was a real eye opener of how damaging this can be.
Yeah. I would say that was a time when people probably spent a lot more time scrolling. I know folks spend a lot of time scrolling now, but there was nothing else to do, was there? It's also
No,
about like I think who you follow and stuff like that. I don't like follow. I don't do a lot of scrolling, but I try not to follow people that would make me feel like that. So if somebody
yeah,
puts something out that I don't like, I wouldn't hesitate to unfollow them, or if it's somebody I know, I'd maybe mute them or something. But a lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want to remove themselves from it.
no, it's hard to. And that's actually one of the big things that I always say is like, if you're like I follow a lot of sports people and a lot of athletes and a lot of CrossFit athletes, and I had to remove a lot of them because you're in a place going, why don't I look like that? And you're like, Emma, you don't look like that because you don't train 5 hours
Yeah,
a day and you don't survive on chicken, rice, and broccoli. Like you drink wine like 2 times a week. Like that's not going to happen for you unless you do the things that they do. But it was really disheartening. Like, and that's like I had to come away from a lot of social media because of it.
going back to the thing about what you were saying about being more muscular. That's like something like, so I was saying the other day, I've basically lifted weights for like 20 years, probably not consistently. It's only really been consistently the last 5 years or something, right? But I'm like, people think you're going to become massive, and I'm like, I would love to become massive. It's not happening.
I
It's not
know.
happening. But like
I
that
know.
whole, I like the whole pink thing. I've never heard that before.
You know, that might not be verbatim, but that was kind of the principle of it all.
So, what would you say? I'm just looking at my notes to make sure I'm covering everything. Otherwise, both of us will go off on an absolute tangent.
I'll end up.
What would you say helps improve confidence?
Right, well, the inner work, first of all, recognizing
Confidence. Yep.
the recognizing the language that you're using with yourself. So,
Yep. I've got that.
um, like things like, would you ever speak to your friend like you speak to yourself? So when you're looking in the mirror and you're calling yourself a fatty or podgy or whatever it is, like, no, we're trying to switch the language. So, like, one of the things that, like people tell me on calls, I'm just really fat and I feel really fat and ugly like that. Okay, well, can we just rephrase that so that's a little bit more accepting and positive? Like, yeah, you might be carrying a bit more weight, but let's refer to like you're curvy just now, or it doesn't have to be this negative language all the time. So that's the first one. Thinking back to your past is a huge bit as well, and
Oh
thinking
my
about what
God.
what did your mum say to you about your body? What did your auntie, what did your granny? And some of the things you hear are horrific. Like, oh, my mum took me to Weight Watchers with her when I was 9 because I was podgy. Like, well,
My
you were hormonal, like you were having growth spurts out, you're having growth spurts up. Like, and it's just some of the things that people have said to others is just horrific.
my whole like cellulite leg thing comes from my mum because she was always very active. Well, yes, he was, because I don't think she is now, but she was always very active. But it was all obviously back in the day, it was always trying to be thin and cardio stuff and running and cycling. So our legs were really flabby. But obviously, when I was a kid, I didn't know like what she was doing wouldn't help it. Do you know what I mean? She wasn't doing any squats or anything, but it's funny because that's where mine comes from. So like now I'm pure not now, but I was for a long time paranoid about my legs because she was.
Mm, that's interesting, isn't it?
So it's
Like,
pure passed on though.
mhm.
The other thing that I would say as well is really good to help people work on their body confidence, which is actually probably quite a hard thing to do, is to actually like, look in a mirror and like become at peace with the things that you like. So start focusing on the things that you like about your body.
And if you don't
Like,
like anything, find the bits that you can tolerate.
oh, I like that.
Because a lot of people have talked themselves into such a hole that they don't like anything. But find the bits that you can tolerate and learn to like them and build it up that way.
And then start from that. I quite like that. What about, so obviously it's totally an inside job, right? Because like we say, it doesn't matter how much weight you lose, so that number in the scale and all that jazz. But there's an element of like we were chatting about before you come on, your lipstick, there's an element of like your physical appearance that's going to help you feel better.
Absolutely. And even like weight loss is not the thing that's going to make you have that inner confidence. It can help. And this might sound a little bit harsh, but if you don't like being overweight, you are not a tree. It can be changed. Like you can move it, you can change it, right? So if that's something that you want to do, sometimes that's like you'll hear this a lot. Like a lot of people want to lose weight, but they are paralyzed with the fear of learning how to do it properly because of this could be a whole other podcast about like intermittent fasting and all of these things and keto and do I do this just cleanse and all the things and ultimately none of it actually works unless we are consistent in a calorie deficit, doing our training and doing the mindset work and learning how to change our behaviors, right? That's it's proven, it's scientific. We know that's what works. But people are really scared to do that because it sounds hard. But actually making the commitment to yourself, going, right, okay, I don't like this, I want this, I'm going to find a way to do that. And sometimes that might be a person, it might be a coach, it might be you, it might be me, it might be whatever, but just making that commitment is number one and being in it for the long haul, not expecting the miracle within a week, But the other, like from a physical appearance point of view, like taking pride in your appearance can make a huge difference. Just speaking from personal experience, this year was it June, July? This is going to sound really old fashioned. I got my colours done. Like I have spent the last, how old am I? 46. I have spent the last many years, 36 years, pretty much wearing black because I used to be a bit of a goth and I've never really let that go. Right. And then I got my colours done. And the first thing the woman said, get my colours done is avoid black. It really drains you and washes you out. I'm like, what am I supposed to wear then?
Where can you pass on the details of where you got that? I think it might have been Sandra or somebody. I was chatting to somebody about this. I didn't know that was a thing that you could get done until like early
It's
last
a
year.
very big 80s thing, I think.
Oh,
Like
okay.
Bridget
I'm like, I
Jones's
really
mum
want to
did
get
it.
it.
It's really good. So I got done with it's a company called Style Me Happy. She's got a big Facebook group.
Okay.
And I'm actually trying to get her on my podcast. But I got my colours done and I got a shape analysis because my shape's changed. And all in it was like £70. But she's come out and said, right, you are a warm spring. I think I'm a warm spring. So like you should be wearing corals and oranges and yellows and teals and turquoises. And like I've not like gone mental. I've bought a lot of stuff from Vinted. But I have had more compliments in the last 2 months about how I look than I've had all my days. Like just because I'm wearing clothes and colours that suit my complexion, suit my hair, and suit my shape.
They're also so far away from wearing black, right? That's not even an in-between.
I know. I still wear black to the gym. Like she said, oh, you can get all these nice coloured gym things and like that. Crotch sweat does not work with turquoise leggings. Like, no, we're sticking with black for the leggings for the
How
gym.
did you feel when you started changing the colour of your clothes and stuff?
I was actually all right because I could literally see it. Like because I've got big shoulders, because I've got big butt, because I've got big legs, I've always just worn like black t-shirts, skinny jeans as I kind of like, let's balance out these proportions. But she was like, no, wear high-waisted. You don't need to wear skinny jeans. Like wear shoulder things. I'm not supposed to wear a round neck because it can accentuate a wide shoulder, but I do like a wide shoulder. So, but I can see the difference. So even just taking that little bit more here, I suppose, on right, well, these are the colours I know suit me, and these are the styles that I know suit me, that automatically gives you a
Yeah. I guess it's going to make you more confident, which in turn will obviously help your posture because you automatically did that there. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Like,
I'm definitely going to look into that. I want to do it. But do you know something that came up for me when I was like just reading a wee bit about this? Because I like, obviously, you know what body confidence is, but I like to just do a wee bit of research and just see if there's anything else that comes up that I don't know. But the amount of people that don't like shower and wash daily, it's like apparently really, really high. So like say like showering and washing daily and just doing like skincare, like your facials, like that's up there with improving your body confidence.
yeah, just actually taking care of you,
Uh-huh.
showing yourself that element of love and affection for you helps as well. So yeah, and it's one of the things that does tend to slip, isn't it? If you're feeling low and you know it's the weather's shite,
Oh, it's so bad.
like if you're feeling like you're not going to do the things that are going to make you feel good, so sometimes it can be an effort, but it's so worth it to just take that little bit of care, get in the shower, shave your legs if that's what you're inclined to do, wash your hair, pluck your eyebrows, just doing little tiny things.
I think
I've
for me as well, like I don't wear makeup on the daily, but I always make sure I've got nails done. It's just something I've always done. So I've
oh,
never been able to wear makeup every day, but I'll always have nails done.
I always wear mascara every day, otherwise I look like some kind of mad otter. But I never really bother about nails. Never bothered about nails.
It's interesting, isn't it?
And I always wear lip. I was saying earlier, like you'll know if you ever see me wearing bright lipstick, it's because my hair is manky, and it's a distraction technique. So there you go. If you can't wash your hair, you can't be bothered because I really don't like washing my hair.
Yeah, mine really needs washed, so I might try that next.
Honestly, it's gym girl problems, isn't it? Like the
I'm just
hair.
like, if I wash my hair the day and then I'm in the gym in the morning, what's the point?
Like that. Why have I done? It's fine. Like I don't blow dry it anymore, but yeah, honestly, if I didn't have such a weird head shape, I would probably just shave it all off and be that prison bitch that Pink was talking about.
I feel like you sound like there's some sort of crisis happening, so I won't be surprised if I see you with that. The other thing is like I think people who are constantly hating themselves takes up so much energy. Like they focus so much on hating themselves that it uses up a lot of energy. So they don't have the energy into we do a lot of inside my programs, we do it's a lot of kind of what you're saying, like behavior change and stuff, and it does take a while. And people are not willing to do it because they don't have the energy because they want a quick fix, but they most likely don't have the energy because they're so focused on hating themselves and what they don't like about themselves.
Yeah. And it's all about, like, we were talking about gratitude earlier and being happy for what your body can do here. This practice of gratitude, right? It sounds really woo-woo. I'm not a woo-woo person, but I do a gratitude journal every single day. And all it is doing is changing the way your brain works. Like that's all it is doing, so that you start, ultimately the long-term goal is that you will always then err on the side of positive and the side of upbeat. And if you're constantly in a place of hating on yourself, or oh, I'm so ugly, or I'm so fat, or all the things, right? You're likely going to be a pessimist. You're likely going to be the person that sees the problems. You're likely that's going to see the darkness. But if you practice that daily morning gratitude of I'm grateful, like I'm grateful for my legs that are going to be able to take me to the gym later. Oh, I'm like some days it's hard. Like last winter, I had one, and I was pissing with rain. I was like, I'm grateful for the rain because it means the grass will grow and the cows can
I've
eat
wrote
the grass.
that before.
And then I can get milk for my cup of tea because I need to have my cup of tea in the morning. Like sometimes you've got to dig really, really deep
I've
to
wrote
find
before that I'm thankful for the rain because Scotland wouldn't be so green.
So you have to dig really, really deep. But as a practice, it has taken you out of this hole of constant negativity and then putting it into a more positive mood. And that's like over time, you start maybe noticing things. You go, like, I was out a dog walk in the pissing rain earlier, and I was like, oh, look at that wee robin, that's dead cute. Whereas if I was in a negative headspace and constantly being down on life and myself, I'd be like that fucking wee mad bastard out in the rain, like this is shite. Da, 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 da. So yeah, it's just about retraining your thought process.
So I don't know who knows this and who doesn't. It's no secret, but like obviously I said to you before I come on the podcast that I started therapy this week, and one of the things she's actually said to me to do is journal. So I used to journal, and my dog died in June, which is this is going a wee bit deep, right? But I'll come back to it. And see, the week he died, I started trying to write him a letter. It was like a journal into him, but I couldn't finish it. And see, since then, it's like 13 weeks ago or something, I've never been able to open my journal again. And that sounds quite sad, but I'm coming on here. So I said to her, right, I'll go and get a new book and I'll start journaling. But to tie this in with what you were saying, basically she was saying, even if you're really struggling mentally, something's going on, always write something positive or something that you're grateful for, because actually that completely will take over. You could write a whole page of negative stuff, but if you write one sentence or one line that of positive, that will take over all that negative stuff. And I thought, actually, I do always conclude my journaling with something positive, but I've never really thought about like it from that standpoint of if the positive's smaller than the negative, it can still take over it, which I thought was quite good.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. I need to start journaling again. That's my task, guys. You can all hold me to that. What would you like? What advice would you give to people that are struggling just now with their body confidence?
Make the commitment to change it. You don't need to know the how. Other people know the how. Make the commitment.
Yeah.
Find the person that can help you do it or the things that can help you do it. But make the commitment that you want something different for yourself. It's probably that's the biggest and the most bold decision that somebody can make. Is that they are willing to prioritize themselves so that they can walk into any room with their head held high, that they can give themselves a slap in the ass, that they can, it doesn't need to, like a lot of, like I get this quite a lot just now, there's a lot of fat loss shaming. So people that want to lose weight are getting shamed for it because they're getting told that they shouldn't have to lose weight. And nobody should have to lose weight, but equally nobody should be told that they shouldn't want to lose weight unless if they want to lose weight, right? That just boils my absolute piss because I've heard it quite a lot. But if you want something different, you have got the power and it starts with you.
I think that's really strong. Because I think a lot of people, like I always say to my clients or anyone when I bring them on board, and actually I've had people not come on board because I've said to them, I'll give you the tools and I'll do everything to help you, but I can't make you do it. I can't hold your hand. You need to be willing to put the time in. You need to be willing to do the changes and work on yourself. Do you know what I mean?
And that's the thing, like I get clients like that going, well, I'll sign up if you can guarantee my results. And I was like, well, the only way I can guarantee your results is if you hire me to come to your house, I'll cook all your food, I'll do your training, and I'll do one-to-one mindset coaching with you. And that's £10,000 a month. So
And I won't leave your house, I'll stay there.
no, I would leave the house. They would probably get the police involved. They were like, get out. But you know what? We can't do the work for people. No. Like we can give them the tools, we can get them on the path, we can hold hands, we can give them the kick up the ass, we can hold them accountable, we can give them all the support. And it's not always easy. Like it's not always just a straight line to success. No. But no. That's why coaching is so powerful, is when you've got somebody there to give you either the wee nudge up and go, actually, no, you're having a pity party. Here's how we change it. Or sometimes you do have to let people have that dip. so that you can help them get back up so they know what to do the next time. Because life isn't all butterflies and rainbows and roses. Like, we're all
No,
going to have shit times.
that's
Like,
like me, like the past while. Like I'm out of shape for what I would have been, but I'm just like, right, okay, now I'm never looking at, because people always talk about, I'll call it used to land. Do you know what I mean? I used to be a size 10 or I used to be this, whereas I'll reinforce with myself. It's like, let's move forward from now. So what can you improve from now?
yeah.
Because I can't be who I was 2 years ago before all the shit happened. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I try and do with clients as well. Because if they're constantly trying to go back, it's like, oh, I was a size 10 before I had 5 kids. And I'm like, fucking, you've had 5 kids. Have a little bit of respect
I
for
was
what your
9
body's
stone
done.
once, and that's never going to happen again. Like, we get so hung up on this whole what I weighed when I was 45. Like, you're going to weigh different. It's fine. It's
I
okay.
know.
And that is the thing about, like, sometimes I can be known to be quite bullshit. I don't know what the right word is. Like, I can be quite not abrupt. I don't know if that honest. Like, let's say honest, no bullshit. And
Direct.
and I get a lot of women on calls, and they're like, I just want to feel like my old self, like that. Your old self's gone. Like, there's literally nothing that you're going to get back. Like, time has passed. Like, you're not going to get it back. So who do you want to be in the future? Like, if you want to be exactly the same person as you were in the past, then that's fine. But we still have to design that future version of you and work towards it. So, yeah.
I love that. Like, who do you want to be in the future? That's definitely a good, really good way to look at it.
Yeah.
What's your, I know this because I hear you saying things all the time, so am I, but what's your thoughts on everybody who weighs themselves, the number on that scale? It's a wee bit of
I
change of topic, guys, but
I don't mind weighing myself. Like, I weigh myself 3 times a week, and depending on the client and their past relationship with food and their past relationship with their body, I urge them to do that as well for a
yeah,
couple of reasons. Like, one, the number on the scale is not your body
no,
fat number, it's your muscle mass, it's your hydration, it's how much alcohol you've drank, it's how much poo you've got in your digestive system, it's whether you need a pee. Like, there's 101 different things why that scale is going to change. So I want people to be educated on knowing what that number and treating it like data. Like, it is not a number that's connected to your self-worth. It's just data. And sometimes we need to know the data in order to know what to do next, and that's
yeah,
okay. The other thing about numbering the scale that I always recommend to clients is most people in the UK are hung up on this 10 stone 4, 11 stone 2. When I was this, right? Change the metric completely. So if you have always weighed yourself in stones and pounds, change it to just pounds or kilos, because it literally means jack shit to you. Like, it's just a number, and that helps with the whole this is just data. So
I get all my clients to weigh themselves in kilos, and then they'll go, I don't know what that is, and I'm like, it's fine. I know what it
exactly.
is.
It's just data, right? And I want to show that the path of losing body fat is not a linear reduction on the scale.
It's
Like, you're
not.
going to have ups and downs. You're going to have, like, if you've got 2 nights of shit sleep, yep, your scale's probably going to go up because you probably then shoved cheese and toast down your throat because you're knackered and, like, you can't be bothered making them. Like,
Yep.
there's loads of different variations, but having that evidence to look back on and go, right, what's the trend line? Like, I used to be a project manager, so I'm used to quite a lot of data and reporting and all of these kind of things. So, like, showing the evidence of you can still, like, your weight can go up by 3, 4, 5 pounds, 6 pounds, like, some weeks, just depending on what's going with your hormones. And, like, when you're in your 40s, it can be quite hard to know what your hormones are actually doing. But it's that whole data over emotion.
Oh yeah, this is what I'm the same as you. I have my clients who are striving towards fat loss or weight loss, like, weigh themselves 3 or more times a week, depends who they are. But if I have a client or I talk to somebody who can, like, remove their emotion from the scale, I wouldn't get them doing it.
Mm.
Because they just step on it, and we always call it the sad step, because they literally stand on it in the morning, and it sets the fucking tone for the whole day, and then they're miserable all day, and then they go to Greg's at lunch and they have a McDonald's for dinner because they've just put on a couple of pounds anyway.
I know. And
So I'm
it's
like,
tough. And I've, like, it's a lot with all kind of coaching, it's test and learn, like,
yeah,
finding out what works best for that specific person. And I've got a client just now she's kind of one of my, like, high, high clients. And she's put the scales in her eating cupboard for a week. Take them, get them away, put them away, don't even look at them. We're just going to do the inputs, because if you do the inputs, if you do the right things, the outputs will come, the fat loss will come.
So this is what I was chatting to Julie. It's on the screen as well. Like, she helps me with work as well. But obviously, I'm kind of like got myself back in a slight calorie deficit now because my mental health's improving. So I'm like, right, I need to move the needle forward. But see, I've got this little book for everybody that can see, and I literally like have been weighing myself. I can't even find the page now and writing it down. But see, for 6. So basically, for 6 weeks, my weight didn't really change, right? And then it just dropped, but I didn't change it. I continued still eating a decent amount of calories, training, moving every day, sleeping well. It's like we were speaking about that, and I'm like, if people just keep showing up, but they lose faith before that point, it's like, oh, it's not working.
That's like years of being thrown bullshit information. Like, we know that because we've trained, we've qualified, we've got the education, we've spent years studying that stuff, and we know. But when you've been like the example of the quite a typical type of client but I went to Slimming World and I lost 8 pounds in a week. Like that, you're not going to lose 8 pounds in a week here. I'm sorry. Right. That's like, and it's like, it's really hard to unpick all of those beliefs and all of those stories and all of those old past things that have happened. I can't remember the point I was going to make there, but yeah. And I don't know whether I'm quite similar to you in the fact that on the scales, it takes a fucking age for me to lose anything.
Oh yeah.
Anything. Like, I've dropped a dress size, maybe nearly 2 in the last year, and I've changed 8 kilos. So what's that, just over a stone?
Yeah.
Like, not a lot.
No.
It's not a lot at all.
So I'm
But then
basically
it's the whole, like, you're under, like, your body composition plays a part in that as well. Like, if you've got a lot of muscle mass, all that kind of stuff.
and obviously, like, I think as well, like, there's the whole newbie gains. We've done it for years. Like, if something new comes in, things are a little bit quicker. But then that plateaus eventually, and it's trying to get them to understand that. Anyway, I feel like we're totally going off in another direction.
I told you that this would go off in one.
What is your, have you got any pet peeves about this industry? I'm just asking because I put a post out earlier and I thought I'm going to ask you about the health and fitness.
Yes, I have issue with, tends to be more men who coach women who have fuck all
No clue.
understanding of hormones, right? And they just preach the same information, generic information to everybody, right? Like, doesn't matter, calories work, calories get, and yeah, kind of from a theory point of view, yeah, absolutely. But so that pisses me off a lot. And it's not actually happened this year, but I used to get approached a lot by men to help that. I was going to make a joke there and say, but no, and to help them like lose weight. And I'd say, no, it's too easy. I'm sorry. No, you're too easy.
You get approached by men to help you lose weight?
Help them lose weight.
Oh, really?
I say no.
Mm.
I've got no interest.
Interesting. I hate that whole, like, oh, it's just calories in, calories out. And I'm like, yes, scientifically on paper, energy equation, but it's not that simple.
No.
Like, with hormones and endo and perimenopause and all.
And life and kids and dogs and mortgages and work and...
I know.
Like, we're fine if we all loved chicken, rice and broccoli, but we don't. And we don't all want to eat out of Tupperware. So.
Nah.
And kale is another pet peeve, just generally just kale. Fucking hate kale.
Well, I had some kale in my dinner. You don't like it?
Oh, fuck.
Like, even like through stuff?
No. Honestly. Oh, and the other thing, right, so this tends to be, you probably have a few of these people that have got very good branding, shall we say, very good Instagram branding. It's all very feminine and italics and pretty, right? And I'm not, like, I should try, but I don't. This obsession with chia seed puddings. What is the obsession with chia seed pudding from all of these nutritionists that have got very pretty Instagram profiles? Like,
that's not where I thought that was going to go, by the way.
There are other things. There are other things that you can eat that don't look like sperm.
That's it's not where I thought that was going to go. But also, on the note of that, one of the things that I put was my pet peeve was like sharing what I eat in a day, because I was like, what the fuck does it matter to you what I share, what I eat in a day? Do you know what I mean?
True. I have been known to do a wee, this is me making my breakfast on a Sunday for the rest of the week.
No, but that's different. Like, I'll share snaps of my food and that, but you know those people go, this is, I eat 1,542 calories in a day and 129.2 grams of protein, and this is how I eat it. And it's like everything that they eat. And I'm like, people don't need to know that information.
And the day, like, I have tried to do a day in the life of, and here's all my food, and then I'm like, nobody wants to see a cheese and ham toastie. Nobody expects that that's what I should be eating. Or the night that I have chips and cheese for dinner with my wee boy, because chips and cheese is life. So
Yeah, but you wouldn't share like all your calories and all of that. Do you know what I mean? It's relevant to you. That bugs me. That really bugs me. But I think that's probably my biggest pet peeve. Or
and the other one, people that wall Pilates.
Sandra. No, she doesn't go it, but just her reaction there.
Honestly, like, you get all these people who are like, oh, look, I built this booty on wall Pilates. No, you didn't. No, you didn't build that booty on wall Pilates. You built that booty with deadlifts and squats. Like,
you've just also reminded me. I didn't put this on, but people who are like, got pure abs and they get these abs in 6 weeks. No, that doesn't happen. You're either genetically gifted or you've really fucking worked hard to get a core like that.
I did have abs. I had a six-pack. I got a photo shoot. I did a fitness photo shoot for my 40th and I had abs and it was amazing, but I was the most miserable, hungriest, angriest person that you've ever met in your entire life.
I say this all the time.
6 weeks, my treat on a Saturday night was a can of Diet Coke and 2 rice cakes. Like, what kind of life is this? Like,
no life. I always think as well, like when I was in the best shape that I would say I was in, I was knackered as well. Your calories are quite low. Like, it's not a way to live your life. I've got one more question for you, but if you get anything else you want to add about body confidence or anything.
Environment counts.
Oh yeah.
Environment counts.
I've actually got that written down here. Like the people you surround yourself with.
People that you surround yourself with, what you consume, TV, media, social media, all of these things count. What you're surrounding yourself in your home environment counts as well. So if your drawers or wardrobe is full of sad sack clothes, they're not going to make you feel good when you put them on, right? So get rid of the saggy baggy leggings, and actually, even if you have to go up a clothes size, like, it's fine. That is not anything to it's not your self-worth. It is just literally cut the label out if it matters. And also, clothes size, now, let me get this right. So there's a threshold of clothes sizes. So if you go into H&M, like, people that are cheaper, like H&M, Primark, etc., their threshold is bigger. So you could pick up a size 8 of something in one of these shops and compare it against a size 12. And given the thresholds of the measurements, the size 12s could be smaller. Right? So just remember that clothes sizes are just a guide.
I don't care about clothes sizes. It's like, if it's a 12, 14 and it's comfortable on me, I wear that. If it was like a 6 or an 8 and it fitted me, I would wear that.
It's been a long time since I've been in a 6 or an 8.
No, I mean, I know, me too, right? But it was just an example.
But so things like underwear, like if your pants have all got holes in them and stained and bogging, like, just a bit of self-worth, bin them. I've done a whole lot of things around money mindset in the past couple of years, and one of the big things is about, right, if you want to be higher value, you've got to act higher value, and that means doing things a little bit different from what you do now. So say, for example, if you buy all your pants in Primark, the next pack of pants that you buy, go the next level up. So H&M or Marks and Spencer's or something, right? Just that little bit, like, I'm worth this. It doesn't have to be pants. It could be like gym wear or something, like, doesn't really matter. But it's just that, okay, so go and check your underwear, go and look at your makeup. Like, if you can afford it, go and get a makeup lesson. Like, there's loads of little things to do that can help boost how you feel about you.
I like that. The whole time you were saying that there, and most people know this.
Were you thinking about your underwear?
I don't wear pants.
What? So you definitely cannot wear turquoise leggings to the gym?
They're just really uncomfortable. There's no need for them. Anyway, that was probably an overshare in this
What
podcast, but I like to
what
overshare.
happens if you're wearing jeans?
I don't really wear jeans.
Oh, please wear pants when you're wearing jeans. You'll give yourself some kind of injury if you don't.
A pure jean rub.
Chafing of the vag area is never going to be pleasant.
No, I probably get away with it because I'm just like constantly in like joggies or something. But after our conversation at the start, I'm like, right, I'm going to change my clothes. Let's wrap it up by you telling us one thing that what advice you would give your 18-year-old self.
Quit with the boys and vodka for a wee bit. It's not worth it.
Was it that bad?
It wasn't good, from what I can remember, certainly. There was definitely some fun and a lot of risky situations, as a lot of teenagers at that era were, but yeah. But other than that, no, I can't. That's probably the main thing.
Anything related to body confidence? I know that you've always been quite confident, but
Don't think you're fat compared to what you're seeing in the magazines, because compared to the magazines, I was. In fact, see, from a BMI point of view, I've always been overweight. Even when I'm size 8, I've always been overweight.
BMI does my head in. That it could be a conversation for another day. But no, thank you so much for giving your time up and coming on. And I'll send you a wee copy of the recording, guys. Thank you so much for coming on. I hope you got something out of it today. All right. See you later.
Thanks. See you later. Bye.